Hello all. In this particular video, we'll be taking a look at how to use Loft, Fillet, and Chamfer. Loft, Fillet, and Chamfer are three important modeling tools in Autodesk Inventor. Before we start, if you have been enjoying our video series, kindly subscribe to this video to get notification for new videos. You can like the video and share with your friends. This will encourage us to do more videos. Now, let's get started. Loft in Autodesk Inventor is used for creating irregular objects. If you take a look at the object on the screen right now, you will see that this object cannot be done using extrude, neither can it be done using revolve or sweep. So to produce this kind of object, you have to make use of Loft. Now, to create Loft in Autodesk Inventor, you will require sections or plane. Let me take a few minutes to explain more about sections, cross sections. Now, when you take a look at the object by the right, this object by the right is an irregular object. It cannot be created with extrude. Now, for this object, if you want to produce it using three sections, you will examine the top. When you examine the top, you can see that the cross section is circular at the top. Towards the middle, the cross section is also circular. Then towards the base, the cross section is circular, as seen by the on the left hand side. So now, by combining these three circular cross section at three different planes, I can produce this object. Let's practice this with Autodesk Inventor. So when we go to our Autodesk Inventor, uh, I'm going to activate, okay, I'm going to activate this top plane by making it visible. Now, let me create two other planes. By using offset from plane, I'm going to create two other planes. So now I've been able to create two other planes. Okay, so now I'll be drawing circle on these three different planes. Then I'll be using Loft to combine them to form an irregular object. So start to the sketch, select the plane here. So I will draw a circle of diameter 0.5. Finish sketch. On the second plane, I'm going to draw another circle of diameter same 0.5, or I can make it different. Let me make it 0.3. Finish sketch. On the third plane, I'm going to draw another circle. Now this time I want to make this 0.8. Now you would observe that these three circles drawn, they have three different diameter. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use Loft to combine these three circles drawn at three different plane or cross section. I'm going to use Loft to combine them, thereby forming a 3D object. So I click on Loft. Now the next thing for me to do is to select these profiles in either ascending or descending order. So so you can select from top to bottom or bottom up. Okay. Okay, so I'm using this option of rails to combine the object. Then once I accept, so you can see what we have. So this is an irregular object. So I cannot achieve this using extrude. So the best way to achieve this is using Loft. Okay. Now let me modify this object. Let me modify this object. Okay, now I want to hide, before I modify the object, I'm going to hide these three planes. I'm going to make them invisible. I'm going to make the three planes invisible so that's okay. So now we can see the irregular object. So now I want to modify this object that I've drawn. Okay, so when I go to the left hand side of my screen, so I can see the three sketches that form the object. So now let me modify this the top. So right click, edit sketch. Now instead of circle, what instead of diameter 0.8, what if I edit it to diameter 0.2? Finish sketch. So okay, all right. So you can see it's giving us something different. Now the one at the middle, let me edit the sketch to now 0. Okay, 1.2. Finish sketch. Now you can see now that we have something entirely different. So what I've just done is I changed the diameter of the three circles. So I changed it to something different. Now you can see truly that we have an irregular object. So this kind of object can be formed using Loft. So next we are going to draw another irregular object. This time we will not be using circles. We will not be using circles to form them. So now let's create another irregular object. Okay. So I'm going to activate, depending on the orientation of your objects, you can make visible any of the planes. So now I'm going to create 4 planes this time instead of 3 that we have done initially. So the distance between the plane is depends on what you want, and the number of planes you can create depends on also on what you want. So you can create loft using 4 planes, 5 planes, 6 planes, 7 planes. It all depends on the shape of the irregular object, the cross-sectional shape of the irregular object. So start to the sketch. On this plane, I will draw a rectangle. Draw a rectangle on this plane. On the second plane, I will draw a circle on the second plane. On the third plane, I will draw a polygon with 8 sides on the third plane. On the fourth plane, I will draw an ellipse. Okay, now if you look at what I've done right now, I have created 4 different planes, 4 different planes at 4 different elevation, and I've drawn 4 different profiles. So now with Loft, I'm going to combine these profiles to form an irregular object. So now let's do that. I click on Loft. Now, then next, I'm going to select the profile in either ascending or descending order. Okay. 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 Now let me make my planes to be invisible so that we can see properly the object that we have created. Okay. That is still a fourth plane. Okay. All right. So now you can look at the object that we have created. The base is rectangular. The top is an ellipse. Then in between we have circle and what other shape? Polygon, circle and polygon. So you can see this irregular object that we have created. So this kind of objects can only be done using lofts. Can only be done using lofts. So you can see rectangle at the top, rectangle at the bottom, then the middle is another rectangle of a different size. So you can form irregular objects like this using lofts. The next 3D modeling tool we'll be considering is Fillet. Fillet. So to use Fillet in Autodesk Inventor, Fillet is used to remove sharp corners of edges. To remove sharp corners from edges. That's what we use Fillet for. So first of all, I'm going to draw something. I'm going to draw a box. Now, if you look at this box has sharp edges. It has sharp edges. It has sharp edges. So I'm going to be using fillet to remove the sharp edges of this box. So now I click on fillet. I click on fillet. There are different options in fillets. You have the edge fillet, you have the face fillet, then you have the full round fillet. So the most common is this edge fillet. So edge fillets. Now there are different modes of applying fillets. We have edge mode, loop mode, and feature mode. So we're going to look at the difference between these different modes. So by default, edge mode is a default. So now here your fillet radius, you can decide to change your fillet radius. If you are working with dimension, you can decide on what your fillet radius will be. So now I'm going to be using this value. So now because I'm on the edge mode, I will just select the edge, then automatically it's going to add a fillet of 0.125 inches to this edge, so thereby removing the sharp corner in the edge. So if I keep on selecting, so it will keep on applying a round fillet on the object. So apply this cancel. So now, so instead of the sharp edge, so the sharp edge has been removed by fillet. So that's the work of fillet. So fillet again, I just need to select the edge. Just select the edge that you are interested in. Then fillet is added. So based on the dimension that you want, you can add your fillet. So let me apply this. So let me change the radius 0.05. Now 0.05. Then select the edge you want to apply it, the fillet to. Then it's applies the fillet to the particular edge. So this is how to apply fillets in Autodesk Inventor. Okay. So now I've undo back. So I'm going to apply fillet differently this time. So I click on fillet. Now, using the loop option, specify the radius. Now, just select the loop, the face that you want to apply the fillet, and it uses this radius 0.05. It applies it round. So this is the advantage of the loop mode. The loop mode applies the fillet simultaneously to all the edges of that face. So now I'm on the loop mode. So if I select this particular face, it applies fillet around that face. I select this face, I select this face. So the difference between the edge and the loop is the loop can apply the fillet around the edges on a particular face at once. So it's like it's faster way of applying if you intend to apply the fillet around the face. So loop mode, apply. So you can see what we have achieved. So we have now used the loop mode. The loop mode has the capacity to apply the fillet once on the face, on all the edges of the face. So let me undo this, what I've done. Fillet again. Now for the feature mode, once you apply the object, it applies the fillet at once to all the edges in the feature, all the edges in the design. It applies a fillet of radius 0.05 of any desired radius to all the edges in the design that you have made. So now you can clearly see the difference between using the edge mode, the loop mode, and the feature mode. The edge mode applies it individually. Edge mode applies the fillets individually. Loop mode applies to a particular face, while the feature mode applies it to the entire object, to the entire design, to the entire feature at once. So that's the difference between edge, loop, and feature mode. Then there is also another option for fillet where you have face fillet. Now, when you have face fillet, so this is actually using this face fillet, you can select two faces that are adjacent to each other. This, and I'm selecting this. Second face, I'm selecting this. So it's just another way of applying fillet. You can now decide on what the radius of the fillet you want to have. So this is also another way of applying fillet to your object using the face mode. But I would recommend you use this edge fillet, which is a faster way of applying fillets. So next, we are going to be working on chamfer. Using the same box, Using the same box, we are going to learn how chamfer works in Autodesk Inventor. So now click on your chamfer tool. Now for your chamfer tool, we have three methods of applying chamfer. You can either use any of these three methods. So we have the distance method, we have the distance and angle, then we have two distances. We have the distance method. For this distance method, we are going to be selecting distance once. Then distance and angle, where you have to specify a distance and one angle. Then here where you have to select two distances. Now, to apply your chamfer using the distance method, the distance mode. So because you are going to be selecting distance once, so just specify the distance of the chamfer that you want. Okay, let me use this 0.125 inches. So now, because it has only one method, edge, select the edge. Okay, so now once you select the edge, it's going to apply the chamfer. So now you can see, let me turn this around a bit. Okay, so the way the chamfer is being applied from this initial edge, it has chamfered 0.125 to this direction, 0.125 downwards also. So this 0.125 has been applied twice to the side, to this side, and to this side to create this chamfer. So this is what we refer to as chamfer in design. This is a chamfer. So a chamfer is also another way of removing sharp corners of edges. So chamfer has been applied using the distance method. So if I want to use this second option, distance and angle. So for this particular option, you will need to specify one distance and one angle. So to apply this, the first thing I'm going to select is I'm going to select the face I want to work on. I select this face. Now I'm going to select the edge. So now based on this distance and angle, it's going to apply chamfer. So at distance, so this is a different way of applying chamfer. Now let me change the angle to probably 60. Okay, now we can see. So it uses one distance. You can see from the arrow here, this distance is 0.125 and this angle of this inclination is 60. This angle here is 60. So these are another different method of applying chamfer. So you can either use distance method where it's going to apply the same distance twice, or you use distance and angle method. The third method of applying chamfer is using two distance method. Two distance method, you can specify the distance that you want. So I'm going to use 0.5 and 0.125. You can see two different distance value. So now select the edges involved. Let me select, okay. 0.5 is way too big. So now 0.05. Let me use 0.05. Okay. All right. Now I'm using two different distances. So one is 0.05, the other one is 0.125. So now if you look at the way the chamfer is being applied, you can see that these two distances are not the same. So one is longer than the other. So this is 0.05, this is 0.125. So this is another way of applying chamfer. So now you can see the way we have applied chamfer in three different methods using distance method, where you are going to specify the same distance, the same equal distance, because it's equal distance. So it's just going to give us one box to put in the distance. Then the other method is using distance and angle, where you have to first select the face that you want the chamfer to be applied. Then you now select the edge of the face, one edge of the face, to apply the distance and the angle method. Then the third method is using two distance, where you're going to specify two distance values, then you select the edge. So now, by making use of your chamfer, you can remove sharp corners from edges. So depending on how you want your chamfer to be applied, you can use any of these three methods. I hope you enjoyed this video. If indeed you have, kindly subscribe to this channel, share this video with your friends, have a comment. If you have any question, then like this video to support this channel. Thank you very much.